Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Captain retired Jahanzeb Hashmi Palestine, while previously and now Solomon Jahanzeb for the viewers and listeners abroad from Pakistan, outside Pakistan. Today with me is a very great personality, Mr. Kurt Krueger, a peacemaker, a person who is promoting peace, a person who's promoting peace through practical implementation of body and how to bring peace within and outside. So let's talk to him. Welcome to our show, Mr. Kurt Kruger.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Sir, please introduce yourself a little.
Well, my name is Kurt Krueger, and I'm the things that I do. It's not who I am, but the things that I do are peacemaking in every aspect of life. We started a number of years ago the Peace Lab, which created a number of podcasts for a big platform called Humanity Rising Global Solution Summit. And it was an all-inclusive kind of way to look at peace, because most people look at peace usually just in regard to the absence of war. But peace is also peace of mind. It is also the peace in your own little family. It's the peace in your neighborhood, and so on and so forth. If you happen to be working and so on, it's the peace at work or it's trouble at work. And when I consulted with the Success Systems International, which I created in 1983, after creating the Institute of Sports Psychology, actually in Bombay it was called, in 1982. We did programs for the National Institute of Sports at Patiala and trained their national team for the Asian Games. One person set 8 national records after having only done the practices that we teach for only 3 months.
Brilliant.
It is incredible because it's the body, mind, and spirit and emotions. Without Allah, what can we do? Nothing. Yes. So when we actually open to Allah, our whole being, and serve Him in every thought, word, and deed, we can achieve wonders. Now,
Really?
yes, I mean, I have a ebook that I sometimes will gift people, and the ebook is called Making Miracles, and it's things that not only this person has done in his life, but all kinds of other people in their lives. A simple example: women who have seen their child pinned underneath a car in an accident, they will not only pick up the car, but they will pull the child from underneath it. Now, what does a scientist say? Oh, it's adrenaline. The human body cannot lift that much, supposedly. Well, the only picture in my book, other than the author's picture, is a picture of a man named Sri Chinmoy. He is pictured having one arm holding on to 7,000 pounds that he had just lifted about that high off of the standard that it was on. It's a huge rack of weights, about 30 big weights on each side. And he was able to do that 3 out of 5 times after midnight. Guess how old Sri Chinmoy was?
Yes.
Over 60 years old.
Don't tell me.
I gave a program. I gave it and designed it for Humanity Rising. It was called Peak Performance for a Daily Life. It was with Dr. Gabriel Cousins. He's an old friend of mine from the 1970s. He's a nutritionist. He was a Scholastic All-American football player. He graduated from Columbia Medical School with medical degree and so on. And he, in his 80th year, only does 1,000 push-ups 3 times a week. So what can't you do? What can't somebody else do? We have greater power and abilities than anybody imagines, except people like me, who's a little bit crazy. But it's a good crazy.
Yes. So, whatever you were telling was like unbelievable. It's like skeptical that somebody can lift that much of weight at that age and or do those many push-ups at that age, at the age of 80. How do you manage? How do you manage to make these people do that?
Well, the biggest key, I'll give you an example. In 1984, I was giving a presentation at the Olympic Scientific Congress, and it was called Meditation and the Ultimate Performance in Sports. The person who keynoted that, now let me tell you something about the Olympic Scientific Congress. Every 4 years, they have it in the Summer Olympic time because there's 3 parts of the Olympics: the sports, the culture, and the science. Well, it's the most prestigious sports sciences conference in the world because it happens every 4 years. And the best speakers with the best research and everything come to that conference. Mine actually was rated the best of the whole conference in my field. But the man who keynoted the sports psychology section of it was a man named Bob Beeman. Bob Beeman was a long jumper who long jumped almost 2 feet further than anybody had in history. 2 feet further in one jump. In the middle of his jump, he would have gone almost over my head. I only stand about 6'1". I forget it was meters, but he would have been almost over my head in the middle of his jump. The physiologist said he should have shattered his tibia. He should have shattered this foreleg, so to speak, but he didn't, just because of the force of impact. But he didn't. He almost jumped out of the pit. He was just very short distance further, and he would have been out of the pit. So how is it that he did it? He said in his presentation that he didn't have a thought in his mind. He had spontaneously gotten into that meditation state. We teach a most powerful, practical technique to get into a state of meditation quickly and regularly. I'll give you an example how it is for stress. I was at a mass shooting in California. I was substitute teaching at this school, and a boy decided to shoot and try to, he killed a few, but he shot a bunch of people at the school, and then he killed himself. I was able to handle helping a lot of people deal with the stress because I've taught stress management, even a program at the United Nations. I've given a program at Oxford Medical School. Well, ultimately, short time after that, I got PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. Guess what? Just recently, a couple months ago, I had to give a deposition. This is like speaking in front of the judge. It's all legal, right? And I'm going through a 3-hour deposition. At the end, near the end of the first hour, I suddenly broke down. I just started weeping. And I said, "Excuse me, please give me 5 minutes." We stopped the recording and everything. I did peace in everything, everything with peace. Go ahead, do this. Peace in everything, everything with peace. And when you do the movement, It gives you muscle memory. Everything with peace.
It's
Peace in everything. You touch your fingers to your heart, and then you open your heart and your fingers to everybody. So it's peace in everything, everything with peace.
it's
Peace in everything, everything with peace. That's simple practice for 5 minutes. 2 more hours, I went through that deposition, no problem. Not a problem since on that regard. So it is a effective and powerful practice for anybody. And the beauty of it, you as a good Muslim or as a good Pakistani, you can put it into to Arabic, or you can put it into Urdu or Pashtun or any different language, any language. But you put peace in everything, everything with peace in your mother tongue, the one you dream in, the one you more likely fantasize in, and so on. And it will work very well for you.
well, you know, teach us more about it. Let us know more about it. How do we attain this state of mind when we become so peaceful? And how do you get that?
Well, as soon as you feel unpeaceful, the very first thing, let's say we started to get into an argument. And as soon as either you or I sense that we're doing something that is not peaceful, put your hand up. What does that mean for a police officer? You got to stop.
Yeah.
So you stop, pause, and you can do that piece in everything. You can do it even just using your hand like this. If you're lying in bed because you can't move any part of your body and you can only do this, peace in everything, everything with peace. Peace in everything, everything with peace. If you open your hand wide, it's even better because it opens your hand and you're giving the peace to everything. And then everything with peace. Peace in everything, everything with peace. Peace in everything, everything with peace. You can rock side to side. It's you can even go like this: peace in everything, everything with peace. And you feel your hand go all the way across your hand, and you're going peace in everything, everything with peace. Peace in everything. And it's slow because at a 5.5 count, you're able to get your heart and your brain waves and your breathing in what's called resonance. They are in harmony. And that way, you have really de stressed and allowed yourself to open to the inspiration that Allah can give you to bring peace in everything, everything with peace. Beautiful, isn't it?
It's remarkable. I just felt peace because I'm having headache in my head, and I have ache in my head, and it is like subsiding.
It will. Now, there's a number of other reasons why that does, because as you're doing this breathing, and it is slow and deeper, that slow and deeper breathing allows the one organ in your body that uses the most oxygen to get that oxygen. What is that? It's your
Oh,
brain. Your
okay.
brain needs the most oxygen. And guess what about the heart? The heart has actually so many neurons in it. Neurons are brain cells. Well, what about those things called your gut, your intestinal tract? That is even more. So when you trust your gut, it's like Allah giving you that intuition and saying, this is what you got to think about. This is what you got to do. This is the blessing that is never ending. When you feel anywhere near stress, immediately. Instead of, have you ever, well, I've driven the streets of Bombay, and I used to think Rome was the worst city to drive in. but I think Bombay beat it big time. Well, people miss each other by inches sometimes because these, rickshaws and all these cars and everything else just going. "Yeah." Well, in America, if somebody cuts in front of you too much, you might just show them their IQ. They sometimes use a different finger. Well, this is sometimes their IQ, and you could say that's their IQ, but instead of, we call it flipping the bird with that other finger, and it's not a kind thing to do. So instead of doing that, say, bless it or bless you. Why? Well, I got that one from my grandfather. My grandfather was a carpenter. And if he ever hit his thumb with his hammer, he'd say, bless it. Why? Because it already hurts like hell. Why do you want to get it out of hell by blessing it, right? Make it feel better. And so we use the words. We use the words that we know are positive, present, and helpful, and so on. I have another ebook that is called Abracadabra, Empowering Communications. And it's how powerful the word is. In one of the scriptures of the world, it says the word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Well, the word is not just according to that scripture, Jesus, it's also the word that was spoken by him, which is all peace, just like the Quran is so filled with peace. And we get to start to emulate it, emulate the truth. So experiment with your beliefs. When I was down in South Africa, I was playing beach ball. It's volleyball at the beach. Because I used to do that here in California. And I was on the best court in the world at one time, but I didn't stay up there very long. But at least I got on it once in regard to playing on that court because it was incredible. But I digress a little bit. But the thing is that this idea of playing ball is fun anywhere in the world. So here's this African. He does an incredible spike, just straight down, but he landed wrong. And you hear this pop. That is not a nice thing to hear. I knew exactly what happened because of my background in sports, because I was also an All-American swimmer and outstanding water polo player and so on. So I dragged him off the court because he let everybody else play. And I said, do you mind to see if I can help you? And he says, well, what are you going to do? I said, I'd like to just put my hands on your knee and I'll just guide you through a visualization practice because I teach sports psychology and so on. And we'll get you to be able to be healed faster. And he says, okay. So I put my hands on his knee and I guided him through this visualization. Imagine breathing in through your nose, deep down into the lower lobes of your lungs, because that's what happens when you breathe through your nose. It goes to the lower lobes of your lungs where most of the air sacs are. So you're oxygenating your system more. And as he's breathing out, he breathes out, completely so that he gets out all those toxins, all the damaged cells and things like that. I'm describing this in detail to him for 45 minutes. But for the first time in my life, I thanked Allah for having healed him. Just like Jesus supposedly thanked God for having healed the people. And I was just emulating that. I was just experimenting with that for the first time. It just came to me to do. I did it a few times during that time. He got up and walked away. I didn't even get to know his name. Now, years later, I was a scout leader. And I'm leading a backpacking trip. They have 50-pound packs on their back, and they're walking through the mountains and so on. And sometimes after a short time, we'll stop the line and everybody sort of catches up because they straggle. Some people go slower and so on. As I did that, a boy comes up with a big staff because he twisted his ankle badly. And I said, do you mind to see if I can help you? Same thing happened. Same thing happened. If I can do it, what can't you do? You trust in Allah. Let Allah do the work. You're not doing anything. Allah is doing the work. Is that correct?
You're right. How do we do it? When that boy which had that sprained ankle, what did you do with him?
I just guided him through a visualization. And I also thanked God, thanked Allah for having healed him. Same thing that I did in South Africa. It doesn't matter what continent you're on. Doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter who it is. After a swim workout in 1963, 1963, I'm working out for the first time with really great swim team. I was a really good swimmer at a park pool, my city park. I was a good swimmer there. But then we joined a club team. And that meant that we were competing in that particular club. We had 4 world record holders on our team. So we're swimming with the sharks, and I'm just a little guppy. But 2 years later, I was an All-American. That meant the top 10 fastest in America and junior colleges. On the way back from a workout, driving on a freeway, it was raining. And my twin brother, I have an identical twin. I know it's scary, but he looks like me. He's driving and he starts to fishtail. The back of the car starts to drag, slip to the side. And I calmly turned to him. I said, slow down. Not saying, slow down. I just said, slow down. He put his foot on the brake. Wrong thing to do. So instead of just fishtailing and coming back and driving on, no, we did a donut, which means we went around and around from the fast lane to the guardrail. Thank God there was a guardrail there, because otherwise we would have gone off not a cliff, but a big steep embankment. And when the tow truck man came to take the car away, it totaled the car. He asked if my brother and I could lift up the car so he could tow it away fast and he could make more money. He didn't say that, but that's what he meant. Well, I looked at my brother who's standing there like this. He's in shock. Well, I was a little bit different state of mind. I just wanted to get the heck out of there. And I picked up the car. The guy put the tires underneath the back so it could be towed away. And they took it away with us in the car. So if I can do that, I was a skinny, 150-pound, 6-foot tall person at that time. Skinny. After an hour and a half swim workout with these world record holders. How does that happen? Again, if this body can do it, what can't your body do? With a little help from
Allah.
Yes.
I must tell you, I do not do exercises, physical exercises. I think that is because that bad habit that I rise early in the morning, I offer prayers, then I go to sleep again, or just go to the office, stay there.
Go ahead, continue. I'm just doing something that needs to be done.
So I don't do exercises. I just have a very bad habit that I most of the time is sitting on the chair and doing nothing.
Oh, would you like some coaching?
Oh, right.
Okay. You see what I'm doing? I'm standing behind. I have to do it behind a chair because I've been diagnosed with neuropathy, and so I don't have good balance right now. And I'm basically bringing my left knee up to my right hand, and vice versa. And as I'm bringing it up, I breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. You can get up and do this, and guess what? You
But
will
I
firm up.
know that, but there's no space behind the chair. There's a bed lying, and I cannot stand behind the chair.
Cha. Okay, if you're sitting in a chair, can you stand up? Can you stand
Then
up?
I will not be visible then. I will not be visible then.
That's okay. You don't have to be visible. We're just standing up and sitting down, standing up and sitting down.
Right.
As you stand up, you breathe in and out as you go down.
Right.
Okay. And you keep doing that. And guess what? Your quadriceps will be stronger. Your abdominals will be stronger. Your muscles in your stomach area. You will be able to be oxygenating your brain more and all these good things. I gave a program for teachers in Los Angeles Unified School District called uh, Peak Performance for Academics and Sports. So what I taught them from K to 12, K means like kindergarten, which is like 5-year-olds, all the way to 18-year-olds, sometimes 19. So teachers of those levels of students learned peak performance for academics and sports. I had a kindergarten teacher come back with one of the teachings that I gave the week before. And it's now called roller coaster fingers. And it also is very much like a meditative practice. You hold your hand facing you, your left hand facing you. Come on, you get to do this. Then you put your right forefinger against your little finger, and mentally you can go peace in everything, everything with peace. Peace in everything, everything with peace. Peace in everything, everything with peace. And you go across this a few times and back, and you are able to, by the time you get back, be in a calmer state of mind. The teacher came back with the name that we now have it. It's written up in my book. The book is named Winning Ways for Living, and it's called Roller Coaster Fingers because it's like a roller coaster. I don't know if you've seen roller coasters
Yeah.
much at all or been on one, but
Yes.
they go up and down and around and so on, right?
Yeah. You're
So
right.
all ages can use this. And again, you're feeling your fingers. So your tactile, your physical body's involved. Your mental body is involved by saying peace in everything. And because you're calming your mind and body, you're opening up to Allah's grace, Allah's intuition, Allah's gifts. And that's the beauty of what meditation does.
I never had an idea how beneficial meditation is. Yes. So it is that I never did it, but now I'm going to
Now
try.
you can. I can put into the chat, or one of the things I'd love you to do is when you put this, post it wherever you post it, you include some of these things that I can give you as a gift to pass on, and it'll be on a Google Drive document that people can see. Which
Okay.
one would you like the most? I have a Peacemaker uh, ebook. I have a Abracadabra ebook, as well as the Making Miracles ebook.
You can share the Making Miracles ebook and the first one. The What was the first one?
Oh, you'll remember.
It is Abracadabra ebook, Making Miracles ebook, and the first one was I am very forgetful.
It's excuse me. I'm going to coach you if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
Always say I get to remember soon instead of I forget. You want to
Okay.
be able to remember, so you get to use the word remember, which means bring the members together, bring the memory together. It's very powerful, these things of called words.
Yeah.
Like you changed your name just because of the power of the name.
Yeah. I will remember, inshallah. Allah wills, I will remember. And the first ebook was about
You,
there was a
don't,
book about
excuse me,
miracle.
excuse me. Instead of saying I will remember, that's in the future.
Okay.
Always bring it into the present. I remember, and you remember maybe in about 5 minutes, but you'll remember. I remember. Oh yes, I
Uh,
remembered to be able to bring this thing up the street yesterday, but it was when I got up there that I remembered. But I did remember. So the next day I can remember sooner, and pretty soon I actually bring the thing, and it happens sooner than I say, "Oh, I always forget." You know.
right. So if teach me more how to, because this one thing is so much, you know, hurting me and, actually damaging my personality. This forgetfulness that a moment somebody tells me a thing or I do something and I forget it at once and it's hard
Okay. Do you
remembering.
want to? Okay. Here's a little sharing that you can do. You can start taking notes again,
Right.
and then look them over. Or similar to this kind of a recording, you can review the recording. I did what was called National Board Certification for being a secondary school teacher in 2001, because I've taught from middle school to university. So I re-upped it again. Every 10 years, you have to renew it, and you have to go through another, tests and things like that. Um, and so when I finally retired from that level of teaching, I I had the highest pay that I could get because I needed it. And the way that National Board Certification happens is that you will videotape your class. This is only one of the things you do, but you'll videotape your class, and you then get to be able to look at it at night and review it and see what could be done to make it better. You reflect on things. Most people don't reflect on things. A key point on that. Most people in the world want peace. They say they want peace. Do you right now, have you written down your vision for peace? What is your vision for peace? Your personal vision for peace.
Right. I want to bring peace and solve the conflict between Israel and Palestine.
Okay. So what you get to do is have it written down, and this want to, don't put it like that again. Remember the words that I said, the power of the words. So I'm just going to put into the local chat, the StreamYard chat, what my vision of peace is, and I'll say it right now. Because I believe total peace is possible. I am called to be peace in a way that excites in others their vision of peace, resulting in uniting as the powerful force in creating peace in everything, everything with peace. That's the vision that I have. Now, I can send you the form that this came from, but you can also, if you're let's say, a creative artist, you might design a play to illustrate your vision of peace, or a movie, a little video, or you might have a meme, or you might be drawing a beautiful art piece. I mean, Guernica, a very, 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 it was probably the most famous painting by Picasso he ever painted. It's called Guernica. It was called that because of a place in Spain where he's from was bombed by the fascists, destroying men, women, children, animals, everything. And you see this huge painting. I saw it on the wall of the Museum of Modern Art in New York City, but now it's over, and I think it's in Barcelona, in España, Spain. And it helped people from America want to go over to help the fight the fascists for the common people of Spain. But as it was, Francisco Franco did win, and he was the dictator for a long time. So instead of having war, we get to be able to cause peace through things that actually create it, because violence has never created peace. You show me a place where peace came because of violence. World War
No,
II
no,
may
no,
have been ended by the atom bomb, but did the wars stop? No, they continue. They continue. They continue. America is a big fault of it too.
yes. So, what when I was in the army, they used to say, peace is the time to prepare for war.
Well, if I'll name a number of causes of what happened in Palestine. Are you ready?
Yeah, yeah.
The Zionists treated the Palestinians like they were foreigners, and yet that was their land. The Zionists kept the Palestinians in the largest open air prison in the world. The Zionists made people come in and go out with passes like no other citizen in their entire country. The Zionists only allowed just above starvation diet for amount of food going into Palestine for how many years? Way too many years. Years, not just days. What are they doing now? It's even worse. What are they doing in regard to shooting people? They're shooting people in the knees. The snipers are shooting people in the knees. Is that going to solve the problem? It's only going to make somebody want to get back at them, have revenge. Why? Because most people think you got to get back where it's going to continue. Should we feed people properly, treat people with respect and love, uh, educate people well, treat them like your brothers and sisters, like the golden rule? We wouldn't have had that. There would be no Hamas. There would be no of these other PLO, which became actually something that oppressed the people in Palestine. But there's so on Humanity Rising Global Solutions for the last 2 weeks, one of the most intelligent men I have ever met. He's not only a graduate of Cambridge University, but he also specialized in the Middle East. He also knew Gorbachev. He hung out with Gorbachev and helped Gorbachev do what he did. I
Really?
mean, this guy has so much incredible abilities and connections. Those programs that they offer on Humanity Rising are very, very provocative. He's had people from Sri Lanka to Nepal to wherever, anywhere in the world that do good things, to highlight the good things that are happening rather than only seeing the news. Why would you want to watch the news? It's all blood and guts. It's all me against them. It's all those are the bad guys, we're the good guys. It's a separation demon. In Pakistan, you have trouble with your politics. There's this party and that party, and everybody wants to fight against each other. I was interviewed on a podcast on the separation demon. It's a demon that the devil, so to speak, has created. It's making us think that you're different just because your skin is a little bit browner than mine. And I tried to get brown when I was young, and I'd go to the beach and try to get brown. And my friends who were black, they'd go to the beach if they were light skinned black, they would cover up because they didn't want to get darker, and so on. People have ideas about skin color. People have ideas about, like, as a Pakistani, oh, these crummy Indians. Oh, if you're Afghani, oh, these people, and so on and so forth, or even in your own country. So why have this separation? We're all God's children.
It's discrimination. And it is Almighty Allah says that I have made my creation in tribes just only so that they can recognize each other, right? So we are made into tribes for the recognition. Somebody is made uh, an American, somebody in our country, somebody is from the province of Punjab, somebody is from the province of Sindh, from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan. It is just to recognize them with different languages. It's not that somebody is superior or inferior. Only that person is superior who is more giving, who's more submissive, who's more altruistic, who's more philanthropist, someone who's more kind and dutiful to the words of Almighty Allah.
Yes, totally. Guess what, though? What do they see in the movies? It's all violence. It's all retribution. It's all drugs. It's all this. It's all that. So, what is their model? One reason why Trump is the way he is because his father gave him everything he wanted and let him get away with all kinds of things. That's why he could grab women the way they should not be grabbed in public, even. He talked with people like as if they're dogs. He learned that because of his father. An abusive father gets a child to be abusive. Why? Because the child, I'll give you an example. There's a movie called Human, Human. There's 3 parts, 90 minutes each. But the first part, first 10 minutes, see it. You will see a man stand in front of you and he's looking you straight in the eye and he tells you how he learned love. First from his father, and then from the most unexpected source of love that you could ever imagine.
What's
And I've
was that?
never had anybody say what I just said was different than what I just said. You see that movie and you will understand.
Please
This
let me
man
know what was
learned,
it.
this man learned to be able to, his father is beating him. And he says, I'm only doing this because I love you. Because the kid did something, quote, wrong. But you beat a boy for doing something wrong?
We don't.
I made the mistake when I was first a father. I didn't want to do that because my dad used a belt on me. And I didn't want to do that because I knew how it felt. So when my child, young child, like 3 or whatever it was, I would clip his cheek, just go kick right against the cheek. That's it. And one time I started to do that, and I saw this fear in his eyes. And I stopped. I didn't do it again. We can discipline in such a better way. There's an incredible book called Nurturing with Love and Wisdom, Disciplining with Peace and Respect. That is a powerful book. It's by Diane Tillman. I can put it in the chat too. There's so much that this person has been gifted by all kinds of people. I know Diane. She went to Thailand and designed a program for the people in a refugee camp. Within 2 years, 2 years, there was 90% reduction in violence at a refugee camp. Those are noted for violence. Then she went down to where my wife is from, South Africa. She went to Joburg, where my wife went to school. She designed a program for street people. These are transient people, homeless kind of people. Similar kinds of results. Her programs are very powerful. We designed a program, the Peace Lab did, for Humanity Rising, and we had 3 different great quality character development programs highlighted on that one program. And I can send you a link to that, and you can see it and spread it around everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have been gifted with so much rich experience, especially in bringing people close to each other, maintaining peace. You talk so much about social capital, how to do the bonding, the bridging, and the bridging between the people. How do you do that? How do you make other understand that you do not mean wrong to that person and you want peace?
Yes, we had a group at a church that I was affiliated with, and it was called Building Bridges. And we initially started building bridges because there was such a gap between Christians, Jews, and so on with the Muslims, because we were fighting in Afghanistan, or we were fighting here. America's everywhere. We have more military bases than any other country. And we say we want peace, but we do this kind of stuff. We spend so much money on war. If we had a Department of Peace and spent a tenth of what they spend on the Department of Defense, we would have peace on earth. I guarantee you, when you follow the things we know now, like there's a symposium, I could send a link to you on this too. It's already been completed. And we're going to highlight it on Friday on the opening of this one particular podcast. It's only voice. It's not visual like this. But there are a number of people that attended the big symposium by some of the top people in the world on bringing peace to life. I'm talking about the world. And it gives us so much hope. It's amazing. Why? Because the time is ripe for the big change from the darkest time period. In India, they call it the Kali Yuga, this, maybe 26,000 years or whatever it might be of horrible times, to the Satya Yuga, to the time period that is pure, where peace is in everything, and everything with peace. Instead of having the mantra, everything with peace, the mantra at that time would be everything as peace, because everything is peaceful. And that's the beauty of what we can do by watching these kind of programs and experimenting with them. Like you start to experiment with this meditation practice more and more throughout your day, not just in the morning for half an hour or 15 minutes or what. You do it when you need it. Like I gave a meditation practice called Zen meditation, Zen driving. There was Zen walking. If you know about a man named Thich Nhat Hanh, he's a Buddhist Vietnamese man who was up for the Nobel Peace Prize. Well, this man had Zen walking. You could walk and breathe and be totally in meditation and peaceful, but you're moving. You're not running into anybody. You're not stepping on rocks. You're walking through the jungle or wherever you are, and you can do it. I taught people Zen driving. Why? Zen driving is totally present in the moment. You can see everything, hear everything, and be aware of everything, not worried about anything because you are present. And that's the gift that meditation has for you. Most of us are thinking in the future or worried about what we did in the past if we're going to get caught for doing that stupid thing. Everybody makes mistakes. Let it go. I'll give you an example on that. I had a teacher named Muktananda. He's in the kitchen in Atlanta, Georgia. He's cooking for everybody for breakfast. I'm walking by with a bunch of bowls, and a guy right ahead of me is walking by with a bunch of bowls stacked up in our arms. And just as this guy gets to the door of the kitchen in this hallway, he, for some reason, drops them. And it makes a big noise. So Muktananda comes up and he looks down at this boy picking up the bowls. And he's just looking at him. And the boy looks up and because he sees these orange robes, and he looks up at him and he says, I'm sorry, Bob, I'm sorry. And Muktananda only said, only fools say they're sorry, and walks back into the kitchen. And I thought, oh, dude, man, that was a slap in the face. What's happening? How do you feel? And I was so surprised. The guy says, I got an incredible teaching from this guy. All I had to do was pick up the bowls because that had already happened. Why do I need to be sorry? I just need to pick up the bowls. We've been taught to be back in the past, to say, I'm sorry, teacher, because we have a hierarchy of teaching. We have, I know this, you are going to learn this, and this can be in my cell phone. All the facts in the world can be in here. I can get all the facts from that. But how do I use the facts? The using the facts uses the other brain, the right brain. Left brain is over here with my computer, with my cell phone. But this creates beauty and life and joy and wisdom. That's what we get to do. And when you want to raise your child to flower, it's not going to be easy to flower because a bud has to break through that tight, almost like a cocoon. It's like a butterfly. A butterfly has to break through the cocoon. If we slit the cocoon open to help the butterfly get out, it hasn't gotten strong enough to be able to move its wings to fly. We think we're helping, but we're ruining it. Just like we ruin our food with GMO, or we ruin our food with other kinds of pesticides and herbicides and all these things that are poisoning the bugs and us. That's why we have so much more autism. That's why we have so much other kinds of neurological issues. It's an incredible chain that life is. Allah created this microbiome in the soil, but he also created a microbiome in our gut, in our intestines, so that we can digest and assimilate, absorb the food that we got into our body so it works to be able to make our body strong, to pick up 7,000 pounds, or to be able to long jump 2 feet further, or to be able to give love and light everywhere we go. Now, if I start to speak too fast, please hold your hand up and I'll slow down.
You tell me one thing, that is that if I do something wrong and with someone, like I do a mistake, I commit a mistake, and that is damaging somebody's something, and I have this fear that that person will react in a bitter manner. So in that way, I say sorry to that person so that he's not bitter.
Well, sorry is one thing, and doing something better is different. Now, when I
No,
say sorry,
I mean, I mean to
you can
say,
say, excuse me, you can say, I didn't mean to hurt you. It wasn't something that I thought maybe I wasn't thinking or something. And you can say that. You don't have to say I'm sorry. Just say I only mean to do good with you because I love you, or I only mean to do good because that's what I'm here for, or however you want to term it. But actually be in the moment with them, not back here. I am meaning right now that we should be making amends. Now, amends is one thing. For instance, if I bump into them and I make them drop their ice cream, well, that's a big sin in my book. I like ice cream and I don't eat it anymore because I told myself I'm not going to take refined sugar anymore. So I don't do that. But this idea of dropping something or causing something like that, you can replace it and say, this is from me, or even give them two of them, or instead of one scoop, you give them two scoops, kind of a thing. Uh, but again, it's trying to be as present with a person as possible and from the heart, because that
that
heart,
reaction has to be spontaneous. How to bring that spontaneous reaction to say that I didn't mean it, because it's like instinctively you will say sorry.
I understand that. And that's why we're well conditioned animals. And you say it's spontaneous, but it's not a spontaneous, real thought. It's like when somebody says, "Hi, how are you?" You'll say, "Oh, fine, thank you." Real quick, not even thinking. But if somebody says, "What's bringing you joy today?" You have to reflect and think, what is bringing me joy today?
Brilliant, brilliant.
Answering
You
in the
are brilliant.
present. Simple little thing. This is what we teach in the peacemaker circles. The peacemaker circles is incredible. You and I, should you have gotten four other people on, we could have easily had this beautiful dialogue with a total of five people and or six people or whatever, and it would be able to flow and we can coach each other. It's called a mastermind circle, but our peacemaker circles are master heart circles because we use our mind, but we are using it from the heart space. And the heart space is so much more true than the mind space because we have been conditioned to fight back. Because you're in the army, prepare for war. Oh, yeah, that's what I get to do. And you're thinking, I get to do it. Why? Because we all do it. We're men. And so they think that to be a man, I got to kill people. Oh boy, isn't that fun? Not when you see somebody's head blown off. Not when you see not when you see a child's guts sticking out. That's what's happening in Palestine. That's what's happening in any war. Most casualties in wars are women and children. You are not told that. What do they call that? What are these other people who die? Oh, that's just, you know, I forget the exact word.
Perseverance.
Pardon? Collateral damage. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the collateral damage. You're right.
Yeah.
So, how to convince the Israelis that they should put an end to this waging war against
Well,
Palestinians?
we get to put pressure on anybody and everybody who can put pressure. And it means the people that don't believe. I have dear friends that are actually Zionists. I have a friend I had since the 1980s, and he's a Zionist. He's Jewish, but he believes in Netanyahu. He believes Netanyahu did the right thing because so many people died. Yeah, but how many people did you kill after that? How many people are you continuing to kill? And why is it that you haven't asked for a ceasefire so you can stop all of the killing and heal everybody? Let people heal. You can't heal when you have no hospitals. You can't heal when you're hearing a bomb going over. You can't heal when you have fear in your heart. You can't heal when you have anger in your soul. Why are you given anger? So you'll fight and kill. So you do it for me because I'm the ruler. Big guy, little servant. Are we slaves? Yes. Is every army person a slave? Yes. We think we're not. I'm a sergeant. Well, you were a colonel. Holy cow. Yes, sir. Or like that, or, however you want to do it. There's all these different ways to salute. Yeah, but how about opening the heart? Let's salute. This is the peace salute. Now look at this. We're looking at the world through what? Love. We see all that the world is. God created only love. Human beings created something else, but we get to see what God created. And then we say, zoom peace, and we throw that love out to the world. And it's the only thing in the world, the only force in the world that we have a word for besides Allah that brings peace. Love brings peace. Violence
Love
can
for
never bring
humanity, love for humanity, love for every creation present in this universe.
If we don't
Even
love
though,
all of creation, how are we going to eat?
yeah,
Everything needs insects to either eat or to be able to pollinate or to be able to all these different things. They all interact.
you're right. The entire ecosystem of this world needs to be loved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was brilliant, and I am very sure the people who watched this interview would have learned a lot about how to get into peace within and outside. Everything is peace, everything is peace, inside peace, and everything is peace.
If you want, I'll put into the chat right now, and you can put it on the post or whatever. Is about being a peacemaker is an inside job.
Yes, you should please, I'll do that. And your last message for the viewers?
Well, I would love people to have a similar prayer that I do every morning and afternoon and evening, and three other times a day. Two other times. So praying 5 times a day, saying, "Thank you for knowing, loving, and serving you in every thought, word, and deed with great strength, health, wealth, and wisdom." Because Allah is the only thing that can give us that. And when we pray that simple prayer, not what I want to do, not what I want to have, not any of that. If I'm a vehicle for His love and grace, I am so happy. And everybody around is so much happier. Imagine your family being ecstatic all the time, walking around like as if they'd had some drug, but they're not drugged. It's like uh, not Brave New World. Aldous Huxley wrote a book called Island. Aldous Huxley was a great seer, so to speak. He wrote Brave New World and things like that. But his last book, it was a novel, was called Island. And they had something in Island that people took on special times, and it was called Soma, very much like the Soma in India. And it allowed people to get into that altered state of experiencing God. medicine by the indigenous people. There's an interesting book, uh, The Religion with No Name is its subtitle. Uh, it's interesting. I always remember the subtitle on that one. The Religion with No Name. Uh, okay. But you can look that up as a matter of fact, if you're interested. And that way, instead of me giving you all the facts, you can be a good student and look it up on the search engine. And I don't use a particular term for the kind of search engine people use. Again, I don't want to advertise for big corporations because I like the little guys better. Like going
And
to
what do
the,
you use for the search engine? What is the term you use for the search engine?
yeah. But I so thank you for the work you're doing. And I know I don't have to tell you to keep it up, but everybody's worth it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, viewers, today we were with Kurt Krueger, the Peacemaker Circle, the network, and we learned a lot about how to attain and achieve and spread peace all around us, within us, and what is love and what is love for humanity and what Allah wants out of us, that either we should be evil or we should be good. And for good in the eyes of Allah is to be peaceful. So this is what we learned. And next time also, I will request Mr. Kurt Krueger to come again in the show and uh, you know tell us more about his insightful ideas, experience, and learning what he shared in the past hours with us. I'm so grateful. Thank you very much, sir. Any words?
Thank you. Have a great day.